Oh, I'm sure. I know that. We used to live up,
Mr. Troublemaker.
she lives on the front side. Yeah. We used to live up on the side. No. Somebody else. Yeah, I talked to Karen, and I asked her, I don't even know, German.
Hi, Carmen.
Your phone speaker is, she does it, so it's not. Yep.
I can hear you. Can everybody hear me, Nancy?
Nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she tried to call, I hung up on
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Edna, all board members have been notified of the agenda properly posted on the association? Okay. Do we have a quorum? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from March 1st and 8th as previously presented? So moved. Second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Hi.
Okay. Cluster reports? Nancy?
The only report that I have for cluster 1 is that Sunday the dumpster is coming for the roofs, and they're supposed to be beginning work on Monday or Tuesday. So you're going to hear a lot of hammering, and you're going to hear a lot of noise and throwing it all.
We can't hear you. You can talk a little louder, we can't hear you.
Use the mic.
Monday, they're going to start our new roof.
Yay!
Monday. The dumpsters are coming on Sunday. They will be positioned in the 3 parking spaces that we have right off of 7th Avenue in the back. And that's where the dumpster is going to be left until they're finished with the job. So we do not plan to use those spaces for at least a week. And they're doing a complete tear off across the back and a complete tear off on the north building, and then repairs on the east and west side. Both the 2 flat roofs in the back are being replaced. The one in the front is not, because that one is only 3 years old. So that's all there is for cluster 1.
Very good. Okay. Cluster 2, duet?
Yes, we have had a roof contractor come in yesterday. This is in regards to roofs. Everything is going well. This will be the 3rd quote I'll be receiving. I'll go through the 3 quotes, and then I'll be selecting the contractor for Trina's roof, and then also the contractor to fix all the missing shingles on all the clusters. The pool has been fixed. The valve has been changed. I will be doing an inspection this Sunday with one of the residents' desks to see what has been done, and if I could take any pictures of what has been done, and if it was done effectively or properly. Also, I've been having some issues with parking, commercial vehicles being parked on the property, and also an inoperable vehicle on the property as well. That's the cluster 2, and so far that's about all the updates I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Robin?
On cluster 3, we've had 6 gables fixed. The stucco has been applied. We're waiting for it to cure, which I believe it takes 4 to 6 weeks. And then Tim from Sherway is going to come back and paint all that. Our carport has been done and repaired, and we're good with that. The big issue is Tom has done a great job, and we're going to get the water issue taken care of. as of March 28th. It's tentative of what we're gonna be, having the water issue taken care of, so the sprinkler systems will be back to working. And then as far as painting the whole cluster, I spoke with Tim the other day, and we're looking at probably, sometime in May. And that's it for cluster 3.
Okay, thank you. Cluster 4,
Uneventful month,
and all you got?
cluster 5.
All right.
Everything's going as planned.
What did he, I didn't hear that, what did you say?
It's an uneventful month. There's nothing's happening.
He said uneventful month. I said everything is going as planned.
Here you go.
What does that mean?
Okay.
Okay.
Edna?
What is that?
We haven't had any real major things. I had somebody look at our fence, or one of our gates, which we're having problems with. I don't know if it can be fixed or not. And we've got some minor repairs that I got scheduled to get fixed. But other than that, I don't have anything to report. So our pool heater is still working, thank the Lord.
That's good.
Kevin Beachy just.
Got one more thing for cluster 2.
Hang on, Duet, people are talking, sorry.
Kevin McBeachy did
Okay,
a good,
I can hard to hear.
Kevin McBeachy did a good job on our gate, on our, courtyard
Oh, did he?
for very good price.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I'll check with him.
Okay, Duet, go ahead, what do you need to add?
Okay, also the painting of, the doors and the incomplete work of the painter, Tim, he had finalized a Saturday, which would either be the 1st or the 8th. I'm trying to extend that so that it would give us enough time with the residents to make sure that they're available to get their doors painted on that day.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. For the master, obviously, I think everybody is aware that we've had 2 cars stolen, one in cluster 5 and one in cluster 3. Just be vigilant, report anything that you see out of the ordinary. If you're out walking or people walking around, I obviously don't advise anyone to, approach someone if they look very suspicious. The sheriff's numbers are on all the bulletin boards, and make sure you notify your director if you're seeing stuff. Cluster 3, Robin touched on that. The water leak, I have Sewell scheduled for March 28th. The water will be shut off. I'm still working for a definitive time with them a little bit, but they have to shut the water off at the street, which will shut the water off to the entire complex, Burger King, and the strip mall. I'm working with 3 supervisors from the county to get that problem taken care of. There will be a boil water notice that we have to put out on everyone's door. Hopefully, Sewell is hopeful that they can get what they need cut out and a valve put on, and then they can turn the water on, and then they'll spend the next maybe 6 to 8 hours hooking all the plumbing back up again. So there'll be more info at a later date for everybody that will be put on their doors and notified. The puddle has been, I guess the puddle's gone on the sidewalk, as most everybody sees. There was some work done on the pool, so hopefully that resolved the issue. And as far as towing, Calvin has lightly started towing over the last month, just in fire lanes and different things like that. We've had 3 tows, hasn't been too active. So that's all I have for cluster report, or the master report. Okay, there is no new business, or no old business, so new business. Consideration of the rules, regulations with parking changes and parking audits. I'd like to start with the rules and regulations. Everybody on the board has received a copy of what I believe is the correct rules and regulations, or at least the last version that was approved by the board. Can we agree upon that?
Move to agree that that's the starting document.
Okay?
Can we get to hear what they are,
Yes, please.
or not?
Can I change something if you're not gonna hear
Lois?
what it is?
Yes.
This is just to say that this actually is the most current copy that we have. Any changes that are made will be made on this copy with this text going forward. It's dated November of 2016.
Okay.
That's the most recent one that we have a full set of. We've got a page here and there from July of 22 for parking. There's a couple of other versions that are out there, some older, some newer, but they're only portions. This is the only full set.
Okay. So, Nancy, can we agree on this?
Yes,
That- okay.
absolutely.
Charlie made a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Am I
Aye.
supposed to know what that is?
What?
Yep, Duet and Robin?
Yeah, they said.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
all right, motion passes. The section of the vehicle parking, in the rules and regulations. Board meeting of February 16th, we voted to adopt an updated, section of that vehicle parking, rules and regulations. It was an unanimous vote. We were only bringing it back simply because of a posting issue or notifying the community. Is there a motion to pass what we unanimously agreed on?
We don't need to vote
No.
individually on the parking.
I have a question.
We need to make whatever we want to make to this, and then vote for this, and I'm going to send it out to all y'all.
Yep, and that's what we'll do with this.
No, this whole thing.
You want to update the whole thing?
No.
Oh, right.
I'm saying, we already said, let's put this in
In there.
here, so we're gonna vote on this
Okay,
as collective, right?
okay. Nancy, you had,
I have a question. I'm trying to find the section in here that talks about people having to be on the lease or on the deed. Do you have any idea which page that's on? I'm on 8 right now.
that would be in the
Yeah,
rules and
no.
regulations, but we're not gonna update that. We're just gonna put,
We don't have any choice at this point because we have identified a major issue.
what's that?
In regard to the lease or the, can I have the mic?
Yes.
Thank you. In regard to the lease or being on the deed, if they are not on the lease or not on the deed, my understanding is that they cannot get a parking sticker, correct?
Correct.
Okay, what happens to the husband and wife who have a house that's in one name and not the other? And he passes, and suddenly we need to get the wife a sticker for the car. We don't have any way to do that with that statement in there. We have people in my cluster, at least, who have lived together for many, many years. And all of a sudden now, one of them, because of not being on the lease or not being on the deed, they can no longer park their car on Pebble Springs property, although they only have 2 cars. One that belongs to the person who bought the unit and one that belongs to the person who is their roommate. That doesn't seem correct to
We
me.
suggested changing it to the approved residence,
Approved residence is
Approved
fine, as long as they're, yeah.
because that means
I don't
they
have a
have their
problem with
background
that.
check, they're okay to live there, they may not be on the lease or be on the deed. Maybe where the parents own it and they're letting the son live there, he's not on the lease, he's not on the deed.
But there
is
is
no-
some documentation somewhere of that person being,
At the application where they got approved,
Okay.
right, approved residence.
Now, that brings up another question. What happens if the approved resident that you're just putting in there is the 3rd car in the household?
There's only 2 stickers.
There's only 2 stickers.
They'd have to decide on which one gets I mean, if the husband passed away,
In that case, yes.
I would assume then
that sticker
that
gets
sticker would be.
deactivated.
Right, it would be
Deactivated.
deactivated.
Yeah,
And now you have 2.
and now you have 2.
You'll always have 2.
Okay.
It should always, it should always.
Is that clear to everyone?
Nancy,
Yeah.
let's talk to us and then we'll open it up for them.
So it's in that very first bold paragraph. It's the second sentence, and
What
it
page?
would, the vehicles, you're looking at the big one. Go to the
Just
next
the
one.
vehicles, just the vehicle section, just section 13.
Yeah. The second paragraph, the second sentence, only those approved residents, and then we'll cross out on the lease or title to the property. Because we do have some of that here. We definitely have some of that.
So we're gonna cross out.
Yeah, it'll be, only those approved residents
Will
will
receive
receive
parking.
parking decals and permits.
Right. Is that all right with you?
That makes better sense.
So you're not
Okay,
gonna take on the.
so that takes care of that. Okay.
Yep.
Resident.
On the lease, remove on the lease or the deed to the, or title to the property. Is that okay with you ladies too? Did you hear that?
Yes,
Okay.
that's fine.
Is there any other,
Yes, Janet?
any other things that need to be addressed that we approve?
Well, I'm wondering if we should, on that very next line, when it says each vehicle will be, wait a minute. Each vehicle will be signed a decal and up to 2 active vehicle permits per
Per unit.
Yeah, I mean, do we wanna say that if a person just has one car, that we'll give them a second one?
No?
Or,
No.
No, they get one.
so the person has to be an approved resident, and then they can have up to 2.
They can have a sticker for each vehicle that is registered.
Okay.
Okay? Okay?
Okay, before you vote on this, while we're in here, on page 5, let's, while we're doing this, vote to take out number 7. And rather than renumber the whole daggone thing, I'll leave number 7 and get rid of the language and put in parentheses, like the attorneys do, intentionally left blank. And then if we ever put a section in there, we have a spot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so we're getting rid of the tennis courts.
Yeah, because you don't have any.
Borrow somebody's.
So, instead of renumbering the whole thing from then on.
And Tom, are you aware of any other?
There are other changes.
No, I'm just saying, any other thing that the whole section would come out?
No,
All right.
not that I'm aware of. Not that I would wanna,
Because now, now would be an okay time to.
it would be, but we'd be here until midnight if we
No,
attempted
not
to.
every little word, I'm
Yeah.
saying,
No, there's no other big section that I would
Yeah.
say needs to be removed. So, okay,
I have one other question.
yep.
Somewhere in here, and I'm not exactly sure which page it's on, there was a section on somewhere in here, there was a small section that said something about the RVs, and that they were gonna allow them for loading and unloading only for a short amount of time. Not all RVs are 30-foot motorhomes. Some of them are quite small, and many of them weigh a lot less than 8,000 pounds, which is a Class 1 truck. Class 1s go to 10,000, I think. So I would like to know why that has been removed, if you can put a limit on the weight. And it appears that you can. Because it's pretty hard for somebody to load up all their stuff and haul it someplace to pack up their trailer when they could just put it out here, out there, load their trailer and get the heck out of here.
It's still in here. Did we take it out?
No, it's still
I
in
thought
here.
on one of my copies that it had
No.
been removed. Where is it, please?
It is,
It's at the end of the unauthorized vehicles section, either in the regular or in the updated.
you need to look at the
Commercial
updated,
vehicles.
on page 13 for vehicle section.
How about, go to the
It
second
just says
page.
campers,
Go to the second page,
boats, personal watercraft.
right above where it says motorcycle, the paragraph directly above the bold motorcycles and motorbikes.
Okay, but campers does not include motorhomes. It's a totally different class. You have multiple classes of RVs. They're class, I believe it's class A through C. And, I mean, if you want to accept a class A, which is like a camper van, that's got the higher roof, that would be acceptable. If you want to go to a class B, it's more of a van that's got a little bit of a shell on it for, people to sleep in the back portion. It's bigger than a truck camper. You know what a truck pickup camper that they slide on the back of a pickup? It's bigger than that, but,
Well, I think,
it doesn't weigh a lot. So I need to clarify that to make sure that campers includes class A or B or C, motorhomes, or whatever limit you choose to put on it.
I don't think it matters, does it? It's only for loading and unloading. You can't park it here, you can't stay
Oh,
overnight
I'm
with
aware,
it, so
I'm aware,
you,
but
I don't
somebody's
think-
gonna
I
come
don't
back
think
and
it
say, this is bogus, they're parking a motorhome there, and they leave it there for 3 hours while they're loading it up, and then they go. We need a size limit, in my opinion. We need a size limit. If we can limit trucks, we should be able to limit a motorhome.
Now, if they left it overnight, that person who complained has a legit complaint.
Yeah,
But-
overnight they can get towed.
But,
Right.
right, but for a few hours while they're loading, unloading, I don't think, I mean, if that's gonna bother someone, I don't know.
Everything bothers someone.
Right, so what are you gonna do?
Does anybody here on the board know of any time that I mean,
I have a class B, that's why I'm asking.
okay,
I don't wanna be in violation of the rules. So that's
for
why I'm
loading and
asking.
unloading?
For loading, it's kept off property and it
Yeah,
is.
I don't think
we
there's
do
gonna be a
rent.
problem with that.
I
Well-
don't want someone coming up to me and ripping me in.
All this in here, this list of unauthorized vehicles, where it says truckers, camps, boats, personal, watercraft, ATVs, after campers, we could add RVs, if you
That's
guys
all
want.
you need to put in.
okay.
Does anybody have an objection to that? I mean, if we're
But
doing them, I will just
I
add
will
RVs.
ask one other question,
Just for
being the
campers,
devil's
not sure.
advocate. You've got 3 classes of RVs. RVs can be travel trailers that are pulled behind a car. A 35 or 40-foot motorhome is also an RV.
There's-
Those are way too heavy to be on our roads.
So put class 1 RV or
Or
whatever.
class A and B.
Class A and B RV.
Then you gotta do it for trucks, boats,
We did it with trucks.
personal
It
trailers.
says
Oh.
1
No.
and 2.
Oh.
Parking vehicles. You've got, watercraft, you've got, I assume not golf carts or
Well, if you
ATVs,
wanna
but
put
you've got
RVs in
boat
there, that's
trailers.
fine.
How about we just put RVs in there?
That's fine.
And then, you know, I'm not gonna say later on down the road, if it starts becoming a
That's fine.
problem,
Yeah, but
we
you know
address
what,
it.
if someone pulled in here with a
5-foot motorhome.
35-foot motorhome
Class C, big one.
to, you know, drop somebody off or unload or something, or whatever, if they can maneuver through here and keep going, whatever, I mean, it's not gonna be here overnight. So,
Well,
school, you know, a
You
school
never know
bus
what
could
somebody's liable to do, but
come through
the
there.
reason I'm asking
Yeah.
is because I
Yeah.
want to be
Yeah.
small, very small, it's 21
Yeah.
feet.
Okay,
I think it's smaller than your trucks.
okay.
but honestly, I've had damage done to my carport because of a large RV that couldn't make the turn, and it
Oh.
Well,
bent
that's a
in
whole
the car.
nother- yeah,
Well, I
that's a
know,
whole
but
nother
it
deal.
still, it wasn't a great, big, long one, it was just a high one, so if you don't have any limits,
That's why I
I
Yeah,
mean,
but, so, you're gonna limit that to even be on the property for a short period of time.
well,
You know, so
we
what
had
about
a lot of damage and they
what
did
about a
not
big
pay for
delivery
it.
truck?
I think that
That's-
short period of time should be defined. I mean, if you're gonna say 2.5,
Not overnight.
3 hours, 4 hours maximum.
Who's gonna start the time clock? I mean, that doesn't
It
work.
depends on if somebody uses it or not,
Yeah,
and
no,
they may
it-
not, I don't know.
I think we're just gonna have to, you know, we have the wordage and then,
RV?
yep, we'll put campers / RVs,
Okay,
okay?
I think so too.
Because a delivery truck, delivering a refrigerator or washer and dryer could back into the carport.
Yeah, right.
Yep,
Okay,
or FedEx.
yep. All right, so we're inserting approved residents taking out the on lease or title of property, inserting the RV after campers, and we are taking out the tennis courts.
Yes.
Okay?
Sounds
We've
good.
already
Okay.
taken it.
I think it's
So,
been moved and seconded
well,
already.
we need to open it up for some comments.
I don't think we moved to adopt.
So waste.
No,
Okay,
we
I'll
have,
move to adopt it as modified.
Second.
Charlie, all right.
all right, we'll open it up. Any comments?
No, we have to, aye.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, after
That
comments.
has to wait.
Does anybody have any comments? Or want to say anything in the parking?
Sorry.
I still have a
Let's-
question.
We can keep the mic here and repeat the question, and that way we
Okay.
don't have to keep
Okay.
it back and forth. Does that work? Yeah, go ahead.
You need to come up to the podium now,
No.
please.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm Jeff Davis from Cluster 2. I have a question on the parking again with who's my significant other who's not not an owner, and her name, if I pass, what's gonna happen
She's approved.
as far as her parking?
Repeat his question and
Yeah.
then.
The question is if his significant other passes and she's not on the lease, as long as she's an approved resident,
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
That means she's been vetted.
she's been vetted to live here.
She's not a criminal, she's had a,
I don't even know.
She
if
did
has
the
a-
application process?
have you
Is
both?
she? I mean, it's been 19 years.
Probably.
I'm sure she's been vetted at some point.
Do we have to check on that?
I'm not going back 19 years. I'm gonna assume she's okay. I'm not going that far, but Janet, I don't have that kind of time.
Sorry.
Some of us-
Okay, is that your question?
Yeah, but I don't wanna leave it open.
Has she been
I
a
might
problem?
die tomorrow,
Yeah,
you never
has she,
know.
is she a criminal? Has she been a problem here?
No, but I mean, it's a gray area.
Jeff, what is legal here as far as being vetted is not what is legal in the courts. So you need to keep that in mind, because she could be bounced out of here because she's not on the,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
and what you need to do then is you need to go to the courts. We can't
Yeah,
help you here.
Yes. Yes.
You have to go what?
I have to go to court.
You have to go to the
No.
homesteading. I think it's a homesteading or something to get them approved.
Yeah, all right. Does anybody else have any questions?
So what was the answer?
What's the answer?
She's approved, she's an approved resident, she filled out the application, she's vetted, she's okay.
Well, look, if.
As long as you're vetted,
Updated.
huh?
I doubt he wants to pay another $125.
Well, I mean, if he wants a definitive, we're
Yeah.
telling him not to worry about it, but if that's not good enough, he can redo the process and update it, we can, make sure everything's.
Okay, this is a legitimate question. So, I went through the process of vetting all my residents so they could get permits for their vehicles. I've got people that have been there for 20, 25 years. I'm not gonna go back and ask them to get vetted again, go through that process,
Right.
because
Well, you can
so-
give him a definitive answer, is what
so
it is.
what I'm saying is, if you've been here forever, you're grandfathered in. Now, that's gonna be a judgment of the director or someone else, whether they think that you're gonna be grandfathered in. I mean, that was my personal decision. The board may decide something different on that, but I can't see going back and re-vetting people that have been here for 20 years.
No.
Thank you.
Right, I don't agree with that either, but if he wants a definitive answer, we can.
No, there's an amendment with the sale or lease stuff that we put in the documents, and I'm gonna look it up right now, because anybody who was living here prior to that was grandfathered in, so it's not gonna matter. And I know it wasn't 19 years ago, so let me look it up and I'll give you the date in a second. Is there anyone else who has a question or comment while I'm researching? Wait a minute, I have it. Hang on. In 2003 is when the official language was changed about vetting, etc. Prior to that, some people may have been, but that is when the amendment went in.
She's okay.
Okay, so to keep the meeting moving,
That's within the 19 years.
yeah. to keep the meeting moving, approach the podium, ask your questions. You'll have 3 minutes to talk, ask questions, do whatever. We will write them down, and then we will answer. Okay?
Jim Mack, Cluster One. Since there was the issues with parking in someone's parking spot, people who are here 6 months or people who don't own a car, are we not allowed to rent that from them or park in there if they allow us? There's a lot of 6-monthers that have a parking spot and it's open for 6 months. I actually had a neighbor that was renting his spot to me.
Okay. Is that your only question?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
What's the answer?
Next question?
Where's the answer?
Cluster One. I take my car down to Sarasota to have work done. They want to give me a loaner all the time. How am I supposed to bring it back there if it's not got a tag on it? And if I call in, how do I know for sure that's to be taken care of right away? So, or am I the one that's going to have to pay when that rental car gets towed?
Any other questions?
We don't get the answers?
Susan Cardone, Cluster Two. I'm pretty open, so hopefully everybody.
We can't hear you.
We're gonna repeat them when we.
Okay, but hopefully everybody can understand why I'm asking this question. I'm pretty open with my illness. I have depression and anxiety, and I had a little attack last night, and I had to call my brother late at night to come over. And so my question is, when I need, and if I need to do that, with this calling system that we have to do to call and get put on the portal to be able to have him come, how late can you do it, and how does that work if I need to do that at some point late in the evening? Did you understand my question?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Any other questions?
Dick Equal, Cluster 3. Guest parking hadn't been discussed at all. Is this the right time? For instance, my kids may come down here for a week, or a friend may come for a week. Are you going to issue a guest parking sticker for their car, or what?
Thank you.
My question, Courtney Catalani, Cluster One. My question was along the same lines as in, regarding the visitor parking. I just want complete clarification on what.
Whoever has the barking dog, please mute your phone until you're ready to speak.
On what the parameters are. I have a sister in college, I have friends across the world that wanna come visit me, and I just wanna know what they can and can't do.
I'm Rebecca Levitt, I also live in Cluster One. I'd also like to know regarding visitors, the type of car that they have. I was notified once that, based on the size of the car, they would have to move their car to the 59th entrance. I've seen other cars that are longer, that are, you can't get around to see their tag, you can't get around to see their sticker. I just want to know what the, are there compact car parking? Should they park somewhere if they're a F-150? Should they park somewhere different if they're a Kia Soul? Should they park somewhere based on the size of their vehicle? Does it matter? Like, I would just like clarification on if an F-150 can park up here, if an F-150 has to go over there, or if a Suburban can park up here, or if it has to go over there. For when visitors come, I don't want the rules to get broken.
Okay.
I have a question about being handicapped and getting around cars that pull up too close to the front door. I've been here since 1974. And I would expect accommodation would be made, but what will happen? What do you do if a person is parked so close that you can't get your wheelchair out of the trunk of the car? Or, somebody told me to shut up.
What?
No.
What? No, finish what you were
You
saying.
you finished speaking.
Yeah.
No, it was just a joke.
Oh.
Any other comments?
There's a problem in that not everybody that's 80 knows how to use computers. So how do you get your message to the tow truck company? If you've got... So I would like you to consider those two items.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
I know we haven't gotten down there, again, I'd like to address the issue of my husband's ability to park in front of.
That's on the agenda.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yep.
I do have a question. I'm Laura Sani from Cluster 1. When it comes to the size limitations for these trucks, is there any consideration of whether or not they fit in the carport? Or if they're sticking out so far that you cannot? I know what Becky's talking about. If you're trying to peek out to not get hit, is there anything to address that? About the length of the truck? I mean, I know you've got the size limitation, but what about how far they stick out? Because that does become a safety issue.
Actually, I have a follow-up to that. I was talking to Michael the other day. We were talking about being on the other side, which I had the wrong understanding, being on the other side of the bumper with scooters and motorcycle or whatever, so that the car or the vehicle would have to back up. So if you have a truck that's bigger, then that would go out into the street. And we talked about, if the case is of that, what would we do with the scooters after that? Or that we should have an answer in there. If that's the case, then you would need to put your scooter somewhere else so that the vehicle is not sticking in the road. And we should tell them where, because otherwise then they're just gonna park all over the property. So that's my question.
All right, let's start answering.
Okay, here, wait. Can I just say one thing before we start answering? Can I make one statement, please? Yeah?
Sure.
All right, thank you. The reason that you guys have all these questions and don't have answers yet is because we have to put them in the rules first before we can hand them out. We just approved them now. So after this meeting, it can all go out to you guys and you can see how this all works. But you guys don't know yet how any of it works, and I don't blame you for all the questions, and but we gotta formulate it and then get it out to you guys.
Okay.
Okay, no, I have a question.
Let
Is that okay? Okay, so why can't we be notified of the new change in rules first?
Before you
You were.
approve.
Yeah, okay,
Before
sorry.
you were.
Were you just
Whoa.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, we had a meeting.
Were we privy to that meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
We adopted these parking rules and regulations on the February 19th meeting.
And when were those sent out to the residents?
They will be sent out.
After
Well-
but you adopted them.
But you already
When were
adopted
they, you already approved them tonight.
Everyone was given notice of the town hall meeting about parking, where we answered all these questions and finalized all of this work. Everyone was invited to come, and as a matter of fact, Comto was here, and, what's his name again? Calvin. Calvin answered questions along with everyone else. That helped us finalize that portion that we're changing, and tonight we're adopting that portion. And once we adopt it tonight, it will be mailed out to every owner so that you all have a clear copy of it. Rather than go over all the rules, we're adopting that in, adopting the tennis courts out, and adopting a minor change, adding RVs.
Okay, so I just want to clarify, that's okay.
We're gonna answer all of the questions in a minute, so ask your question, and then we're gonna go through the list.
Okay, if it went out, when does that start? Does it start immediately, or does it start when everybody receives the paperwork?
So, right now, we are towing fire lanes, parking in front of the dumpsters, stuff like that.
Okay.
This whole process, as soon as we get this done, the board will discuss, or I'll discuss with Kelvin, exactly how we're rolling everything out. It may still take another month before all the parking regulations are completely enforced. It's not gonna take that, but it's just gonna take some time.
Less than 2 weeks,
Yeah.
we'll give you a date.
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna take a little time. We're gonna ease into it versus just say, okay, we're towing everything today.